Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 29th July 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see first topic. So this topic is about tiger conservation. So why this tiger conservation is in news? Because today is World Tiger Conservation Day. So because of this is in news. So now let us try to understand some important concepts regarding this tiger conservation, and you have to see where this tiger reserves are present in India and how many tiger reserves are present in India. And one homework I want to give you is, so in which state there are higher number of tiger reserves in India? Let me know that. And even you have to see, so in which state there are high number of tigers are also present. So this is your homework today. So now let us go deep into this topic. So this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology point of view. And there are high chance of getting this question regarding this tiger conservation in your upcoming mains also. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So actually today, that is July 29th, so it is a global tiger day, or we can say International Tiger Day. So 29th July every year we celebrate it as Global Tiger Day or International Tiger Day. So on this day, your world and as well as India, they can celebrate the recovery of at least one endangered species. As you all know that we are mainly focusing on conserving of these big cats, that is tigers, and we came with a number of steps. So because of that steps, yes, that significantly increased the number of these tigers in India. So India is now reporting increased tiger numbers, and a recent International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN, came up with assessment, and in this assessment it said that there is increased number of tigers by 40% when we are comparing with 2005. So when we are comparing with 2005, and now there is 40% of increase in this tiger numbers that is seen in this India. So it is a day we need to celebrate for the recovery of at least one endangered species. And now let us try to focus on the tiger population in India. So India is home to about 70% of tiger population globally. That means in the world, so how many tigers are there? About 70% of tigers, they are present alone in India. And India is also home for 53 tiger reserves, and these 53 tiger reserves, they spread across 18 states and last tiger census which conducted in year 2018, and this tiger census which said yes, there is increasing of tiger population. And here recent 53rd tiger reserve that we had, or that we came up, that is Guru Ghasidas in located in Chhattisgarh. So here India has achieved a remarkable feat of doubling of tiger population. So actually we came with one ambitious plan or target, that is doubling of tiger population in 2018. Okay, and 4 years ahead of our target, yes, we reached that. Okay, and apart from that, not only we are focusing on this tiger population or tiger governance, now we are replicating the same method for conservation of other animals like lions, dolphins, leopards, snow leopard, etc. And recently we also introduced a cheetah. Okay, so this is the one important thing. And now let us try to understand what is significance of this tiger conservation. So why we need to focus on this conservation. So first one here is, so this tiger which is a top predator, right? So the number of tiger is very important for maintaining of ecology and as well as biodiversity of that so and so area. So here tigers, they are the top predators in our ecosystem, and they plays a vital role, or they plays an important role in regulating and perpetuating the ecological processes. And forests are known to provide ecological services, for example clean air, water, pollination, temperature regulation, etc. So in all these, okay, and on all these ecological services, tiger plays a very important role, and it is also helpful for maintaining of this food chain. So if this tiger which is not present, for example let us take this is tiger, so if there is no tiger means there is increasing of number of herbivores. So whenever there is increasing of number of herbivores, so that will lead to some damage to the plants okay, which are present in that area. So if there is a good number of tigers, means they will be consuming on these herbivores, and that will helps to maintain the good number and good diversity of plants. Okay, so in this context, tiger plays an important role as a top predator, and tiger also helps in maintaining the balance between prey, herbivores and vegetation which they feed. So that thing I already explained here. So these are the about significance of tiger conservation. So now let us have a note on what are the steps taken by the government of India to conserve these tigers. So government of India came up with program that is conservation assured or tiger standards. So under this, 14 tiger reserves they had been already awarded with this international conservation assured or tiger standards, and that will helpful for bringing or encouraging the people to come up with this tiger conservation. And government also came up with this project tiger. So actually it is a centrally sponsored scheme. So whenever you are talking about the schemes, you will be coming across two schemes: centrally sponsored scheme and central sector scheme. So under this centrally sponsored scheme, here the funds they will be divided between center and states. It may be like 60 is to 40, 50 is to 50, 70 is to 30 and 75 is to 25, 90 is to 10. So there is a fund which mainly shared between center and state under the centrally sponsored scheme. Under the central sector scheme, 100% of funds that will be coming from only central government. There is no sharing of funds between the center and states. That is seen in the central sector scheme. So this project tiger, it is a centrally sponsored scheme of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Actually this project tiger which launched in year 1973, and it mainly focusing on country's national parks. And if you are talking about this budgetary allocation, so budgetary allocation for tiger conservation which mainly increased from rupees 185 crores in 2014 to 300 crores in 2022. Okay, so there is increasing of budgetary allocation as well. So if we are talking about frontline staff, so who are guarding etc., so government is also started helping this frontline staff. So frontline staff is very important pillar of this tiger conservation. So whenever there is a human animal conflict, whenever these tigers they attack this frontline staff, so they will get about 2 lakh life insurance or life cover to each contractual or temporary workers. Okay, and this is the one of the recent initiative of this Ministry of Labor and Employment, that they are going to provide 5 lakh health cover under this Ayushman Yojana. So these are some important steps which are taken by Government of India for the conservation of tigers. And if we are talking about tiger reserves in India, so as I said there are 53. So some important one over here Rajaji, here Jim Corbett, here Sarsika, Ranthambore, and here you can see Dudhwa, Valmiki, Panna, Buksa and Kamlang, Namdapaha and Namen, Kaziranga, Dampa, Orang, Sundrabans and Simlipal, Satoskia, Pench, Bandipur, Indravati, and here you can see Bandhavgarh and Satpura, Pench, Kawal, Sahayadri. Next one here is Nagarhole, Satyamangalam. Next one here is Periyar. Okay, so these are some important tiger reserves that we see normally in news. So here you have to do one work. So which state you are coming from, and in your state which of the tiger reserves are located, and you have to remember them. That will be important from your interview point of view as well. So here you have to see some commonly and frequently seen tiger reserves in news. So what are the things that I round up in the red color pen, so that are seen commonly in the news. So you have to see the where they are located. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail. And now let us try to say next topic is regarding Tunisia, power grab in Tunisia. So after this, Tunisia is very much famous for this Arab Spring. So this article is important from your international relations, which comes under your general studies paper 2. So now let us try to understand this topic, and I will be giving you details regarding Arab Spring. So what happened now at present, Tunisian voters, they approved a new constitution. They came up with a new constitution, and this constitution which mainly turns back country into presidential system. And actually what happened, they came with president that is Kais Saied, actually who suspended the elected parliament, and he awarded more powers to himself last year. So because of this we can see there's a power grab. So even though after Arab Spring they mainly ended the monarchy and they came up with the elected government in this Tunisia, but now after once they came up with this president elections, and this president he suspended the elected parliament and he awarded more powers to himself. Again we are seeing there is a power grab that happening in this Tunisia. So Arab Spring protest began in this Tunisia in December 2010, that is in 2010. So there was a Arab Spring movement that started in this Tunisia, and that led to fall of Zain-e-Abidine Ben Ali. He had been in power since 1987, and later on in this Arab Spring, so he fled, that is he left the country and he went to another country in the face of this mass uprising in the country. So Arab Spring which started in this Tunisia in December 2010. You have to remember this fact. And in early 2010s, so Arab Spring was a wave of anti-government protest. That is actually these Arab countries, they were under the control of monarchy. So there will be a king. So they don't want this king. So here Arab Spring which mainly started in this Tunisia, it is anti-government protest and as well as uprising. So we can also see some armed rebellions. Okay, that mainly started in this Tunisia in this 2010. And this protest which mainly began in this Tunisia, so it is mainly because of oppressive regimes and as well as low standard of living of people. So whenever there is low standard of living of people is seen, yes, the people they will come across and they will start protest against the rulers. And if you're talking about the social media, it also played an important role in the rapid spread of revolution around the world. And as new protests which mainly emerge in response of success stories, they shared from those taking place in other countries around the world as well. So social media also played an important role, especially that led to a very rapid spread of this revolution around the world. And because of this, here this Arab Spring which started in this Tunisia, which mainly spreaded towards this West Asian part as well. So we're talking about what is the effect of Arab Spring. So Tunisian revolution which spread like a wildfire to 5 other countries, for example Libya, Yemen, Egypt, Bahrain and Syria. I will be showing you the map places as well, don't worry about that. So first of all, this Arab Spring which started in this Tunisia, or it is also called as Tunisian revolution. So later on, because of the social media, that led to widespread. And later on, these wildfires also have spread to other 5 countries like Libya, Yemen, Egypt, Bahrain and as well as Syria. So where the regimes were overthrown or major uprisings or social violence such as riots, civil wars, mass murdering or insurgencies, they mainly occurred in these countries as well. So demonstration took place in the countries like even Morocco, Iraq, Algeria, Iran's Khuzestan, Lebanon, Jordan, Oman, Sudan and as well as Kuwait. And later on, some minor protests also seen in some areas like in Djibouti, Palestinian National Authority, Saudi Arabia, Mauritania, Morocco, okay, and some Western Saharan areas. So in these regions also there is some minor protest. So we can say there are major protests and as well as minor protests in many other countries. So by mid of this 2012, so initial wave of revolution and protest, they had been subsided, and most of the countries they came up with this pro-government militias, and they came up with this counter demonstrators, and militaries they retaliated violently against by this Arab Spring demonstration. And later on we can see that led to the violence in the response to these attacks. So actually the Syrian civil war, Iraqi insurgency, Egyptian crisis, Yemen crisis, Libyan civil war, there are some examples of this large scale conflicts which are mainly seen, and we are going to study about them in our world history and as well as international relations. Okay, so this is about this topic and I hope it is clear. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding suspension of members of parliament. So title says Rajya Sabha suspends 3 more members. Actually recently Rajya Sabha suspended 19 members. Okay, so now again 3 more members they were suspended. So now let us try to see some constitutional provisions and where in which rules of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha they are present regarding the suspension of members of parliament. So these are some important things that you need to know, and this topic is important from your GS paper to under international relations. And now let us try to see this topic in detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that Rajya Sabha suspended 3 more MPs, members of parliament, on Thursday. And now the total number of suspended members were 23. Okay, so now it is 23. So now let us try to see some details. So what is the reason behind the suspension? So here MPs, they were suspended for their unruly behavior. So MPs, they suspended for unruly behavior. So if you're talking about the power of presiding officer, so if you're talking about Lok Sabha, we have speaker, and if you're talking about Rajya Sabha, we have chairman. Okay, so speaker and chairman, they were the presiding officers of our lower house and upper house respectively. So in order to pursue that proceedings ought to be conducted in a proper manner, here speaker or chairman, they need to be empowered and they need to be given power to force a member to withdraw from the house. So if many people, they are doing some inconvenience to the proceedings, means what happened? There will be no choice which is present with the presiding officer. Yes, they need to be sent out of the house. So it is about the power to the presiding officer. And if you are talking about the process that need to be followed, so speaker under the rule number 370 of Lok Sabha, which mainly gives the power to the speaker to withdraw any member from the house, and the member so ordered to withdraw shall do so forthwith and shall remain absent during the remainder of the day sitting. So what happened if you are talking about the power of speaker? So under this Lok Sabha rules, that is rule number 373, which mainly gives some power to this speaker to withdraw the member immediately from the house. Okay, and speaker also have the power to say how many days they are going to suspend the house. And if you are talking about Rajya Sabha also have the same process. So chairman, he have the power to remove or to suspend the member from the house. So here chairperson or chairman may name a person who disregards authority of the chair or abuses the rules of council by persistently or willful obstructing of business. So that person can be suspended. So in such a situation, the house may adopt a motion. Okay, so house can adapt a motion, and that motion need to focus on suspension of the member from the service of the house, and the period here, it should not be exceeding remainder of the session. So in that session they can go for a suspension, that cannot be beyond that session, or they should not be suspension in the next session as well. And the house may, however, by any other motion, they can terminate the suspension. So if they want to terminate the suspension, yes, they can pass a motion. So this is about the procedure. And if you're talking about what are the terms of suspension, so maximum period of suspension, it is for the remainder of the session. For example, the session is for 2 months. So in these 2 months, they can go for suspension. This suspension should not be extended to the next session. Okay, for example, now the monsoon session is happening. So next we have winter session. So in this winter session, so they should not be the suspension of the same member. Okay, so we have to ensure that that suspension should be in that so-and-so session. That is, for example, in the monsoon session, or for example in the winter session, or the budget session, but we should not extend it to the another session. And suspended members, they cannot enter the chamber or attend the meetings of the committees. So they cannot enter the chamber and to attend the meetings of the committees, and he will not be eligible to give the notice for discussion and as well as for submission. So he will be not getting any notices, and he also loses the right to get a reply to his questions also. So these are the terms of suspension. So what will be the impact of suspension? So now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding US recession. So what is the meaning of recession? Whenever there is contraction of economy for two times, for 2 quarters continuously, that is called as a recession. So this article which is talking about US recession. So this article will be important from your GS paper 3 and economy, and we can also study about this topic under international relations, which comes in the GS paper 2. So in this GS paper 2 we can see that, so what will be the impact of US recession on India. So in this way we can also study. Okay, so now let us try to see this topic in detail. So why it is in news? So US economy contracted for the second straight quarter. So in quarter 1, in quarter 2 there is the straight contraction, and this condition is called as recession. So US economy contracted for the second straight quarter. So government data showed, adding fuel to this recession fears. So if you see some details, gross domestic product GDP declined at an annual rate of 0.9% in the second quarter. So in second quarter there is contraction of economy by 0.9%. So this is the data which is given by Commerce Department of US. And if you're talking about the slowdown was largely because of drops in the government spending. So there is decreasing of this government spending at all levels. For example, you can talk about private investment, you can talk about automobiles and residential buildings. So there is no spending, there is no government spending. And as you all know, whenever we are facing recession or whenever we are facing the low recovery, yes, we need to focus on this public spending. That will lead to revival of our economy. But there is no proper public spending or the government spending that is seen. So it is one of the important reason. And next one here is personal consumption expenditures. They continue to increase through a slower rate. Okay, so because of this, we can see there is a recession in USA. So this is about this topic in detail. And now let me make a small announcement. So we in Rathod size we came up with this mains answer writing practice course. So this course it is for 1 year. We are going to give the weekly targets. So based on that weekly targets, daily one question will be given in the morning at 10 o'clock and you need to write the answer. And if you send that answer in PDF format to our mail ID, so there will be also evaluation. And we give you detailed feedback and one-to-one mentorship is there. And we came with upgradation of this program. From now onwards, we are going to have weekly webinars. Okay, weekly webinars on the live classes regarding those questions, and we will be giving you orientation of that subject, okay, before the week schedule which is going to be started. So this is a one excellent course and you can join this course, and the details of course which are given in the description box. And if you want to do the payment for this course, you can visit our website rathodacademy.com, and there you can click on the course list. You will be seeing this mains answer writing practice. So if you have any doubts regarding this course, so please call me on this number 8074765513. And now let us see some more important articles. Okay, title says Monsoon Session Lok Sabha passes National Anti-Doping Bill 2021. So here you have to focus on what is doping. Doping means nothing but especially the sports people. Okay, so people who participate in the sports, they will be taking some drugs especially to increase their performance. So that is called as doping. So here Lok Sabha which mainly passes National Anti-Doping Bill 2021. So now let us try to see this topic, and this topic is important from our polity which mainly comes in our GS paper 2. So now let us try to see why it is in news. So Lok Sabha has passed this National Anti-Doping Bill 2021 by voice vote. So what is this voice vote? So let me know in the comment box. And if you see some details, it mainly says that. So what is the aim of this bill? So why this bill which had been introduced in the house? Because so this bill prohibits any athletes or any athletic support personals and other persons who are mainly engaging in this doping. So it is going to prohibit doping in these athletes and as well as athlete support. So who all will comes under this athlete support? Okay, so you have to remember that. And this support which mainly includes any coach or any trainer or manager, team staff, medical personnel, etc. Those all will come under this support personnel. So what is the meaning of doping? Doping is nothing but whenever we are consuming of certain prohibited substances to enhance the performance. So in many times we can say these athletes, they will be taking some injections before going to practice. Okay, before going to do their performance there. So they will be taking some injections, or sometimes they will be consuming some prohibited substances. So this is called as doping. So here, if you're talking about key features of this bill, so first and the foremost thing here, it is about prohibition of doping. So this bill prohibits doping in athletes and as well as athletic support personnels. Support personnel includes any coach or trainer, manager, team staff, medical personnel, etc. And no violation of following rules. So if there is any test they are going to conduct, okay, whether they took some substance or not. So here the presence of prohibited substances of their markers in athletic bodies. So there should not be any substance which is prohibited and their markers. and there is attempted use or possession of prohibited substances or methods as well, and refusing to submit the samples. Yes, whenever there is any doubt, whenever they asked for the sample, yes, we need to provide the sample. And trafficking or attempted trafficking in prohibited substance or methods, and aiding or covering such violations. If any athlete requires a prohibited substance or method due to a medical condition, they may apply to this National Anti-Doping Agency for therapeutic use exemption. So if they want to take that, especially for some medical condition, yes, they can take the permission from this National Anti-Doping Agency. So for them, there will be some exception will be there for the therapeutic use. And if you are talking about the what are the consequence of violations, so if you are going for violations, what will be the consequence? So whenever you are going for this anti-doping rule violation, so here individual athlete or athlete support personnel, they may result in disqualification. Okay, so they may result in the disqualification from an event already held, seizure of prize, ineligibility to participate in a competition to be held, and financial sanctions. Yes, so whenever there is any violation, yes, the consequences that should be faced by athlete or athlete support. And next one here is National Board for Anti-Doping in Sports. So this will also establish National Board for Anti-Doping in Sports, and these are the recommendations. They will be giving the recommendations to the government on anti-doping regulations and even compliance with the international commitments, etc. Because we are doing good in this sports especially. Okay, so because of this, yes, this anti-doping bill is very important now. So anti-doping appeal panels. So board will constitute a national anti-doping disciplinary panel for determining the consequences of anti-doping rule violations. And this panel, which mainly consists of members like vice chairman will be there, and 4 vice persons will be there, and 10 members will be there. And if you're talking about the one mains question, so here you can get this type of questions from this topic, like India does not figure very high in terms of sporting achievements, but disproportionately high on athletes accused of doping. So examine why and discuss probable solutions to tackle doping menace in India. So this type of questions that you can get. And next topic, it is about UN peace missions. So India's role in UN peacekeeping missions over the years. So this article is important from your international relations, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2. And now let us try to see this topic in detail. So if you see why it is in news, so two BSF personals, okay, so 2 border security force personals, they were part of United Nations peacekeeping mission in Democratic Republic of Congo. They were among 5 people killed during the protest in the eastern town near the border with Uganda. So on July 26 here, 2 BSF personals, they were the part of United Nations peacekeeping mission in this DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo. They were killed. So because of this is in news. And if you're talking about some details, so India has a long history of service in United Nations peacekeeping. So in United Nations peacekeeping, India has a long history, and they have attributed or contributed more personnel than any other country. So India mainly contributed more personnel when we are comparing with the other countries. So there are more than 2,53,000 Indians. They are served in 49 and 71 United Nations peacekeeping missions as well. So currently India, it is the 5th largest troop contributor as well. So the India's contribution to this United Nations peacekeeping, which mainly began with the participation of India in United Nations Operation Korea in 1950s. Okay, and India also made an important mediatory role in that issue as well. So in 2007, so India became the first country to deploy an all-women contingent to this United Nations peacekeeping mission as well. And a total of about 175 peacekeepers, Indian peacekeepers, they have so far died while serving with this United Nations. So India has lost more peacekeepers than compared to that of any other United Nations member state. So if you see the map of this DRC, so here we have this Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. Here we have Congo, here we have Central African Republic, South Sudan, Uganda, and this part is Rwanda, Burundi, and as well as Tanzania, Zambia, Angola. So here we have this Congo river which is mainly flowing here. So this is a map. And now let us try to see next topic, that is seeking to destroy India's civil society. So if you are talking about the civil society, so especially in our syllabus of GS paper 2, so we will be having about the civil society, role of NGO civil societies. So this topic is very important, and now let us try to see this topic. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under governance point of view. So if you see why it is in news, as per EU civil society, what is the meaning of the civil society? Civil society means all types of social action, and this social action carried by individuals or groups who are not related to or managed by the state. Okay, so here civil society means all types of social action carried out by individuals or groups who are not related to or managed by the state. And India has over 3.5 million NGOs. So India has 3.4 million NGOs in the various field. Example, they will be serving in this education, health, and as well as child labor, prostitution, so like that. So there are a number of areas these NGOs are mainly working in the different fields. And if you're talking about role of civil societies, so first one here is they will help to decrease the implementation gap or to plug this implementation gap. So NGOs, they plays an important role in promotion and implementation of high important rights-based legislation. For example, RTA, Right to Information Act, and next one is FRA 2006, and next one is Right to Education 2010, and even MG Narega. So here what are the provisions that are present on the paper? So how the government is implementing? So what are the gap which is present? That gap, it is plugged by these NGOs. They raise voice, right? And next one here is they also support for sectors untouched by the state. For example, they provide some aid to migrants, they provide some help to humans and labor rights, tribal welfare societies, and women advocacy, etc. So they will be providing some support. And they promote community-based organizations, for example self-help groups, for example farmers organizations, and these organizations, they are critical in bringing about the changes at the grassroots level. At the grassroots level, if you want to bring the change, that will be done by these NGOs. And they also work as pressure groups. So NGOs, they mobilize the people of their rights, as well as they will also educate the communities against harmful policies of government. For example, government came with this Narmada Bachao, Narmada Dam, right? So for that here people, they started, especially tribal people, they started this Narmada Bachao Andolan. So in this way here, these people, they are also supported by these NGOs, okay, and they mainly started for working on the rights of these displaced people as well. And these NGOs or civil societies, they will be also very much helpful to bring some behavioral changes. So NGOs, they work against superstition, false faith, belief, and customs. For example, Maharashtra Andhra Shraddha Nirmulan Samiti, and even Committee for Eradication of Blind Faith. So these are some examples here. They started providing, or they started to bring some behavioral change in the people. And next one here is they also focus on promoting of environmentalism. For example, Greenpeace, and for example One Shakti NGO, etc. And they also came with some new initiatives. For example, participation and awareness of people. And they also and if you see this civil society which also participated in this Swachh Bharat mission, and because of participation of the civil society in this Swachh Bharat mission, so it mainly got a huge success. And we can also talk about this role of Swachhagrahis, so that has a visible impact in changing the behavior of people. And they also focused on stopping of open defecation practice in the rural areas. So in this way here, NGOs plays an important role in the society. So if you see here in this infographic, you know about different NGO roles. First role they play here is protection, and the second role here is prevention, and third one is promotion, and fourth one is transformation. So in this protection, they are mainly focusing on providing some relief to victims of disaster and assisting the poor. Okay, they provide some relief to victims of disaster and assisting the poor. And prevention means that will lead to reducing of people's vulnerability through income diversification as well as savings. So here we are focusing on income diversification as well as savings. And promotion means increasing the people's chances and opportunities. So transformation is nothing but redressing social, political and economic exclusion or oppression. So in this protection, it is nothing but we need to give a fish for a man. But in the prevention, we will be teaching a man how to fish. And promotion means we will be organizing some fishermen's cooperation. And transformation means we need to protect this fishing and fishing rights. Okay, so in this way you can write this type of examples, especially when you're talking about role of civil societies and as well as NGOs. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail. And now let me make a small announcement. We in Rathod Science, we came up with this foundational course for 2023 and 2024. So this is a 2-year course, and in this course we are providing each and every subject and we are dealing with each and every topic in your syllabus. And we are also discussing the previous prelims and as well as mains questions. So this will be very useful, and this course is useful for the beginners and even for the students who already started their preparation and who already gave their attempts. So try to join this course, and the cost of this course, it is just 49,000 rupees with the validity of 2 years, and you will be getting 1 year prelims test series for the free and 1 year mains answer writing for the free, and you will be getting 1-to-1 mentorship as well and personal guidance. So if you want to join this course, you can visit our website rathodscienceacademy.com, and there you can purchase this course. And if you want to take individual modules, like if you are weak in only history, if you are weak in economy, geography, like that, you can take the single modules. So here I am dealing with geography and as well as ethics. So if you are weak in those areas, you can take these courses, and I will assure you that 100% concept clarity will be there in those courses. So now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu, and the date is July 29th, and this is Delhi edition. So first topic, it is about there has never been a better time for sports in India. So here you have to know about what is this FIDE 44th Chess Olympiad. So in sports there was no losers. There are winners, and they are the future winners. So declared by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji as he is inaugurating this FIDE 44th Chess Olympiad in Chennai. So in this event, he highlighted about the recent successes in the international sporting arena. So he also pointed out that the sports brought the world together during the centuries of being the biggest pandemic. Okay, so here we have to know about in this sports also how we are excelling forward. And next topic, it is about Biden-Xi hold talks amid Taiwan row. So US President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping, so they held a phone meeting, so amid rising tensions among the recently on possible visit of US Speaker to Taiwan. So here they talked about some important issues, and actually Biden took office, and we saw there are some fears in this new Taiwan crisis. So it is also leading to the long list tensions on matters in this South China Sea trade, etc. So here we have to focus on that once this meeting is happened or once this visit is done, so we will be getting number of articles there, we are going to discuss that. And if you move forward, there is nothing much in today's city paper, and page number 3 also, and in page number 4. So here you can see this map. Okay, I want to show you this map. So especially it is talking about the secret routes or the paths, so how we can go. So here we have Jammu and Kashmir, here we have this Amarnath shrine. Okay, so the starting point here it is like that, and we can go the trekking route. But what happened because of this flash floods, that led to some disturbances. Okay, and if you move forward, just a minute. Okay, so if you move forward in this states page also, you can't see anything which is much important. And you can directly move on to this editorial page. So in this editorial page, there is one article regarding this Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So in yesterday's lecture, I discussed in detail regarding that topic, so that you can easily go through this topic now to understand this concept. And here this topic is about tiger conservation. I discussed this topic in detail. And next topic is about environmental performance index. So actually recently, so we got last rank in this environment performance index. So this article is talking about what is that index and what are the some issues that are seen in this index. So already I discussed this topic number of times. And if you move forward, here you can see consumer sentiment weakened among the poor households. So recently we came with this consumer sentiment survey, and this consumer sentiment survey conducted by the Sambodhi panels in June 2022. So it mainly had some significant difference can be observed between this high, middle and low income households in their path to recovery this post pandemic. Okay, so this is about this topic, and you have to see what is this consumer sentiment survey. And in this text and context, I discussed about this Tunisia power grab in Tunisia, and there is an article regarding this reviving BSNL in a competitive telecom market. So recently here government came up with a provision of rupees 13,789 crore to BSNL fund. Okay, BSNL to fund its operational viability gap. So because of this, here recently government is mainly trying to revive this BSNL. And if you move on to this 14th page, that is news page, here you can see Rajya Sabha suspended 3 more members. So I discussed this topic in detail. And if you move forward, here you can see Colombo denies reports on Chinese ship. So this article is very important because in Sri Lanka, okay, here we have Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka we have one port, that is Hambantota port. So Sri Lankan Defence Ministry denied the reports that Chinese research vessel involved in space and satellite tracking would enter this Hambantota port in August this year. So Sri Lankan Defence Ministry, which is not giving the details regarding that ship. So it is one of the clear message that it was monitoring the ship progress carefully. So this is one important thing, and you have to know about some facts regarding this Hambantota port. And here next topic here is wildlife amendments to save entrepreneurs from harassment. So here Central mainly came up with some amendments to decriminalize certain provisions of this Environment Protection Act. Okay, so because of this is in news. In absence of such provisions, several court cases can be filed. So there will be also leads to increasing of burden on this judiciary as well. So earlier this month, Environment Ministry, they came with notification, and this notification proposes some amendments to this Environment Protection Act, and it is also replacing the clause which mainly provides for imprisoning the violators as well. So violations which is mainly caused like grave injury or loss of life, proposed fines, etc. Okay, so there will be also imprisonment and 500 times, which is greater than the currently levied fines. So if you move forward, here you can see government worried about teen pregnancies. So high teenage fertility that is seen in some areas. So it is one of the cause of concern in India. So even as you all know, fertility rate has been stabilized across the country, and recently in our National Family Health Survey 5, so there is decreasing of TFR, that is like 2.1 that we studied. So in some areas especially there is a high teenage fertility that is seen. Okay, so here in these areas we need to focus on this family planning programs, and whenever there is lack of contraceptives, that led to the increasing of fertility in these areas. Okay, so especially some areas like Bihar, West Bengal, Assam, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, AP, Tripura, so in those areas there is high fertility rates. Okay, so this is about this topic. And if we're talking about population in India, so India is the second highest populated country in the world, and country's population is expected to continue to grow until this mid-century. And recently there is one report that India is going to become the most populous country in the world. And if you move forward, here in this world page there is one article that is UNSC condemns Myanmar executions. So the United Nations Security Council condemned this Myanmar junta execution of 4 prisoners. Okay, so here we have to know about role of this United Nations Security Council. And here in this image you can see a rescue team at the site of flash floods and landslip triggered by heavy rains in the northwestern part of Iran's capital, this is Tehran. So in this Tehran also there is high rains, and that led to the landslips. And here you can see a small article that is Facebook fails to block hate speech report. Facebook is letting violent hate speech slip through its control in Kenya, and it has in other countries, according to the new report from this non-profit organization, that is Global Witness and Fox Global, which mainly said that Facebook had failed to block this hate speech. So it is the third such a test of Facebook ability to detect harmful languages. So here this report says that Facebook had been failed. And if you move forward, you can see in this business page there is one article regarding this US recession. Fears grow as GDP shrinks. So this article I discussed. And next article, it is regarding global gold demand slid 8%. So globally, the gold demand has been seen a drop of 8% during the April to June period. So according to this WGC gold demand trends, so the total gold demand during the second quarter had been decreased. Okay, so the average gold price during this April June quarter here was $1,870 and 1 ounce. Okay, so this is about this topic, and now let's try to see the important topic. So actually the important dimensions that you have to know regarding this gold here is, so globally, so where we can see these gold deposits. Okay, so here you have to know about one important thing as an UPSC aspirant is gold smuggling. It is one of the important problems that we are facing. So what are the steps are taken by the government to prevent this gold smuggling? Okay, so these are some important dimensions that you have to refer regarding this topic. So by this I'm concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So if you really like this video, so try to share this video to your friends also, such that they will be also get benefited. So if you are new to this Rathod's IAS Academy channel, so try to subscribe this channel and even click the bell icon so that you will be getting regular notifications whenever we are posting these videos. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much.